Um, well, thank you everybody for having me. I'm totally honored to be here. I'll actually be celebrating 3 years with Premier in February. And my boys were 4 months old when I started. So kudos to my husband for staying home with 2 twins, or I should say twins, and at the time my 3-year-old daughter. So kudos to Paul. He's home right now with them. First, I just want to start off by saying, don't let the reason why you started Premier be the reason why you don't work your business. For example, some people may come in and say, I need the money. I need to make ends meet financially for my family, but then that's the reason why they don't work it. Oh, I'm going to miss out on this, or I'm going to miss out on that. It is a big sacrifice. I'll be the first one to say it, but you're going to miss those things even if you work, because you're not going to be there for every milestone that your children or child needs. And that's why I'm here today, to be able to share with you. I do work full-time. We've been at Time Warner for 14 years, and doing Premier, and of course having other outside responsibilities with my children in the household. So just a couple of tips. One, controlling your calendar. If you don't control your calendar, your customers, your hostesses will do that for you. So a couple things that I do is, first I sit down with my husband. So like now, we're probably going to sit down to right on looking into January. But I'll sit down and say, okay, what days can I work Premier? And then we'll look at the calendar. I have my calendar on the refrigerator, like this. And I make sure he's aware of what dates I have, anything Premier related. Whether it's training, whether it's doing an OP, visiting, girls that I have in Syracuse, whatever the case may be, it goes onto this calendar. That way we're on the same page. We're not struggling to make ends meet to make sure we have a sitter if he's not available. He works for MVP and he sells Medicare, so right now is his very busy season. So he was out the door by 6:30 this morning, but yeah, he's home with the kids, getting them ready for bed, feeding them and everything. So, it's great to have the support, but I try to include him as much as I can as far as making sure that we're both on the same page, when he wants me to work and when I want to work. Also what I do is I do not open my personal calendar at my shows. Nobody needs to know I have a dentist appointment. Nobody needs to know I have a doctor's appointment. What I do, and this is actually from Lori's site, is in my show binder, I just have my calendars. Sure. But basically what I do is I have a couple of months in advance. So right now, like I said, I am scheduling into January. So I'll have January's calendar, February's calendar, I'll have the date and the day of the week. I typically will do shows Tuesdays and Thursdays. I won't do a show Sunday or Monday. And if I do a show on a Saturday, it's mid-afternoon, like at 2 o'clock. So I have the mornings with my daughter who's in dance. The boys are typically napping around that time, so I'm really not missing much, and I still have the evenings if I want to have a date night or if we're just going to hang out inside and watch movies and have a fire. So this is what I do. I do not open my personal calendar. With weekends or a Friday, it's first come, first serve. If you don't see a Friday or Saturday on here, it's already taken. If you don't see a Sunday or Monday, I don't do shows then. Thanks. Let's see. Next thing I do is finding a system that works well for you. The system that works for me may not work for you, and so on. So you will find a system throughout your time with Premier, and you'll probably constantly be changing that system, and that's okay. What works for me is I always have enough copies at home. I personally don't have like an actual office. It's my finished basement, but I do write it off. And I just have extra copies of anything that I need on a whim. So I'm going to a show, and for whatever reason I forgot to do hostess packets, I have those available. I have the information available at my fingertips, as with anything that's included in my hostess packet, curiosity packets. I always have extra labels. I don't know if I have any lefties in the room. I'm left-handed, my handwriting is horrible, so I will even put a label on my Hostess packets. So I have labels galore. If I don't have to write, even better. Of course, the back of my catalogs, back of mini catalogs, the little OP brochures that you put in your curiosity packet, so anything, I have them available to me. What I do for Hostess coaching is, Walmart. Thank you, Walmart. And this was passed around. There is a sheet that you guys can take with you. And basically what I have in my envelope, this is the sheet right here I'm going to be referring to, and what I do with this envelope. Basically, you'll see I have a little sticker, and it says packet, invite sent, fun mail, 4321, and thank you. Packet, I give it to them when I meet them at their show, so automatically I can check that off. Invite sent, I typically like to send the invitation 7 to 10 days prior to the show. I encourage the hostess, I don't care if your show's not till until January, give it to me in about a week because it's kind of like fresh in your mind, out of sight, out of mind, you forget about it. Fun mail, what I typically do is the Pop Rocks. It's 66 cents to send, and they actually do have 66-cent stamps that you can purchase. I just simply slap one of these labels, it's a 2x4 label, on a pack of Pop Rocks. You can get 3 for $1 at the dollar store, so I always have those on hand. And I put it in, I believe it's an extra small envelope, and then a label to the customer with their address, but this is actually on the Pop Rocks itself. And it's simple, I'm not like putting any extra thought into it, I'm using the resources that I have. For my postcards, 4321, this actually for whoever attended Becca Brummel's training, I actually use her exact, and I'll pass these around, her exact cards. I was using the incentive site for a while, but then I got an amazing coupon from Vistaprint, and I'm like, oh, that's burning a hole in my pocket, I better use it. So this one is just thank you for hosting a show. Simple, eye-catching, they're going to get it in the mail I'm going to send it within 24 to 48 hours from them booking a show. So that, just starts the excitement. Then I have, so that would be your postcard 4. And then, oh wait, I'm sorry, this was it. Thank you for hosting your show. And then book, the third one is, and I didn't have these in order, is this one. Your show is just 3 weeks away. And I usually put like a little personal note too. It was great meeting you. I can't wait to spoil you with free jewelry, to make it a little bit more personal than just slapping on a label and sending it. The second one would be your show is 2 weeks away, something like that, bless you. With Vistaprint, you can pick any type of, fun background that you want. And then your show is next week is this one. So this is just a reminder to say, hey, pick up the phone, make up those, call those friends of yours. Simple to say, hey, I'm just calling to remind you about my show. Don't forget to wear a solid colored top so you can try on all the fun jewelry. The extra one that I have here is would you like to earn some extra money? We would be selfish not to share because we have an amazing opportunity standing in front of us. So put it out there. The worst they can say is no, not now, which means not never. It just means, timing isn't right. So these are my postcards. So let me go ahead and pass those out. I would say the sooner the better. Maybe around like your fun mail. And you can decide when you want to send it at any point. You just want to get it to them early enough to where if they want to listen to the call or watch the YouTube video, you still have the opportunity of turning that show into their training show. Then I also, and you can get cards anywhere. I made these on Vistaprint as well. It just says thank you. It's blank on the inside. And after I close their show, I just simply say, thank you for supporting my business and hosting a Premier Design show. I hope you you had a good time as much as I did. I hope you received everything off your wish list. I do have a little sample here on the sheet in your table. I kind of make it my own, but at least it's personal. Like, oh my gosh, it was so great to see you and catch up, or your kids, whatever. You can make it as personal as you want. And then also inside my envelope, I have my hostess information card that they would fill out at the time that they schedule their show. And I also added out here, just so that at a reference, I don't have to pull everything out to see what's in there. And then also this, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, which is your closeout show. So this is what you would leave with the hostess at the end of their show. So this is the system that works for me. That way when I go to the show, I can pull this out, plug their address into my GPS, put all their receipts in here, all the checks, all the cash, whatever, so that way when I'm ready to close the show, it's in one place. I have OCD. I am extremely anally organized, unfortunately. But this works for me. So if you're looking for a system, maybe you can start here and then, kind of venture into other things. Yes.
Do you prep those envelopes so they have all the postcards and the thank you card and the hostess, all the stuff that you just talked about, already pre-assembled in the envelope, so when you get a new hostess, so you're not racing upstairs to get a postcard, or it's all in that envelope. Like everything you're going to need for that hostess is here. So you know if you send it or not, because it's an envelope, you haven't sent it.
Yep, when I create these, the only thing that I don't put in here would be the hostess information card, because that's in my hostess packet. So as I'm going through the stuff, it's just a reminder to pull it out. Hey, can you fill this out for me? What's the best way to contact you? But yes, these are stickers on there. The only thing that would be missing would be whoever the hostess is. And these can get really messy if somebody is rescheduling, or if I've contacted them a couple of times via text, whatever way works best for them. I'm making myself little notes. If we reschedule, just note to myself that they're not going to be eligible for the $50. So it's just, for me, it keeps me organized. And keeping the way that I work with all my hostesses consistent. Okay, so how does Premier fit into my schedule? I do work your typical Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, hour lunch. So what I do is I try to fit in about 15 minutes a day for Premier, which I'm sure you hear a lot about. What works for me, and this can vary depending on the week, doesn't necessarily mean that every Monday I'm going to do this. I might switch it up depending on what's going on. Typically on Mondays, it's going to be checking for hostess packets for the next couple of weeks. So things that I'm looking for is, do I owe anybody a 321 postcard or a fun mail? Or did I just close the show that I have to send them their thank you letter? Other things I look for would be putting together invitations. As I mentioned earlier, I do like to get the invitations about 7 to 10 days prior to their show. If their show is booked till January, I might say, hey, in the meantime, go ahead and create a Facebook event. If we're not friends, friend me, and put it in at least as a save the date, so at least it's, once again, fresh in their mind. Tuesday would be contacting hostesses. So whatever way works best for them. They might prefer to text, they might prefer a phone call, they might prefer an email. But I would refer to the hostess information card to know exactly what works best for them. Wednesday closing shows, that would be one that's going to vary depending on what shows I had previously. I will keep a show open no longer than a week, and I always encourage my hostesses to close them sooner out of respect for the people that came to their show, because they're waiting for their jewelry and also their pre-sale orders. Thursday, trips to the post office, bank. It's not very far from my house. I actually work from home on Thursdays, so it's very convenient for me if I do need to run there. And just a little funny story, I refused to deposit money in an ATM prior to Premier. I don't know why. I thought I got lost in like bank space. I encourage you all, if you're not doing it, it's a huge time saver. I barely ever will walk into a bank, unless it's like a check for my kid's birthday. I have no choice. But I encourage everybody, find a bank that you can do it with. I'm sure it's everybody, but use that service because it's very, very convenient. Fridays, I love my love notes that I receive from my upline. So I do them with my downline, and when I say downline, I'm reaching out to all 3 levels. It's not just my first level. So I did bring a couple once again. I use Vistaprint. You know, those coupons that we get whenever we get a Kohl's and we scratch it off, we have to go shopping, right? I'm one of those people too. I did try to write off some of my clothing as well. Retail therapy is important. And I'll pass these around too, like the summer, you're flipping awesome, flip-flops. You rock, keep up the great work, and you'll see on the other side that there's some stuff. You're a rock star, keep out the outstanding work. My favorite one is this, and I learned this, I think, from Becca Brummel. You've been caught. Because they're like, what the heck? Doing amazing things with your business. And then I said, you're working so hard and very proud of you and your accomplishments. Keep up the great work and great things will happen. And sometimes I'll put like a little fun quote down there because I like quotes. So I will pass these around too for examples.
This is Prince gonna get like.
I know. I wonder if they have a referral program. That'd be fabulous. So what keeps me focused? Well, I chose Premier because obviously the 50%. For those who don't know, I did do Leah Cynthia before I did this, and I could not get a booking to save my life. So I made it very clear to my Premier mom, who was Melissa Sherman, listen, I only want $400 extra a month to apply toward my student loans. I do not want to earn trips, and I do not want to sponsor. I've gone to Disney, and I've gone on a cruise. And I have so, little did I know what Premier was how that was gonna change my life. So, money definitely was the number one, and that's the one thing that my husband liked too, because I was told as soon as I met with my Premier mom and grandma, but my husband's like, I have my own questions, so I told my Premier mom, my husband's kind of difficult. You might want to bring some help. And so she brought my Premier grandma, and then that's specifically what sold him was the 50%, which I can't blame him. He's watching 3 kids under the age of 3. So, I'm going to pass this around. I paid off one of my student loans 3.5 years early, all because of Premier. So when I made that payment, I know there's more to Premier than just the money, but money motivates, right? 50%. Who wouldn't want it? But that was the reason why I started Premier. I still have more to go. Obviously, it's not going to keep me from stopping or continuing. There's more to it. My family. So, I had really fun putting these together. So please take the time to look at my fabulous family. This is my family. Mackenzie, Paul, Bryce, and Carter.
Do you guys at your shows?
No.
You should.
I should.
This
Not everybody is my Facebook. Not everybody my Facebook friends, so they, you know. So my family is what motivates me. Obviously, at 5.5 and 3 years old, Mommy, do you have a jewelry show? They don't get it. I know that they're going to reap the benefits. The house that we're in right now is in East Irondequoit. I bought it when I was 25. I've been there for 10 years. 36, if you want to know. And I'm ready to get out of that area. My husband and I both went to Penfield. We've known each other since 2nd grade. Obviously, on one income, I could not afford a house in Penfield. That's where we'd like to go. So eventually, they will reap the benefits. My daughter already has because she went to Disney. She thinks we're going to go every year. What also keeps me motivated, you may have seen this on Facebook, is I love giving love notes. So, this is a picture of my office space. I save every single thing that Lori sends to me, that my Premier grandma, my Premier great-grandma, anything I've gotten at Haven at Hope. I've been to every single regional and national rally. I save everything. I'm not a hoarder, but I save everything. So, just as a reminder that, not only does your upline love on you, but also the company, the certificates that you receive for becoming builder, designer, amethyst, quick start, whatever you can imagine. I like to pass that love on to my girls because most of us come in here for money. A lot of us don't get the recognition that we probably deserve for those who work full time. So to get a little love of note in the mail to say, oh my gosh, you are a rock star. You just kicked butt. You're like, yeah. I actually sent one of my girls today because in the month of October she sold over $7,000. And she's only been in Premier since September. Yeah. I was like, tell me more. How are you doing this? Katie Elaine. And last but not least, Premier is in my life for a reason. People come into your life for a reason, people leave your life for a reason. So I know, although I came into Premier saying I don't want X, Y, and Z, there's more to it. Do I look to leave Time Warner? I don't know. I don't know what's to happen with Comcast, but I know that I would have an amazing support system, whether it's my husband or my upline, but I know that I could do it that much more because I would be doing it full time. Couple last notes, essential things to require to build your business. First and foremost is your attitude. Positive thoughts. If your Premier business is locked up in negative thoughts, attitudes, actions, and or habits, you will reap negative results. First and foremost, your attitude. Positive thoughts. If your Premier business is locked up in negative thoughts, attitudes, actions, and or habits, you will reap negative results. So you hang out with negative people, you don't hang out with negative people. The positive Premier people, 3 P's. Attempting too much. Simplify the process. Don't recreate the wheel. I spend a lot of time on other people's websites, whether I go to Lori's to get to Nancy's, whether I go to Lori's to get to the Terrells, the Drapers. I am constantly looking at what else is out there. I'm not looking to be creative and think of a Christmas invitation. What can I use or what pictures can I take from what's out there and create my own without, finding like a Pinterest picture that I want. So don't recreate the wheel. Personal organization, organize a way to contact hostesses maybe would like to book that didn't book as their third booking when they had their show. Potential prospects, if you're doing some type of fun event at your house like a shopportunity or girls just want to have funds. Funds.
Oh, this is hilarious.
That was on somebody's website. I cannot take credit for that, but I was like, oh, I like it. Who doesn't want to have extra funds? Even if it's for retail. There we go. So there was also at the tables that you'll see, this is from the Drapers website. I thought this was a nice handout because it just talks about building your business and maintaining your business. Not spending time like, oh, I worked my business. I organized my wall of fame. That's not really working your business, although I did do that once. You'll see as the picture goes around. I needed a new look and feel, and I had so much more that I had to add to it. I needed to make room. I bet I have a really big office in my next house. So take a look at this. The other page is the hostess coaching. So that just kind of goes over what we talked about with my little envelopes and what's included with the pop rocks and the love notes that you give to your hostesses. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
I just wanted to say something real quick. You were talking about depositing. For those of you who have ESL, I don't know if there's other banks do this too, but you can do mobile deposits where you take a picture of it. So I don't ever leave my house. I don't ever leave my house anymore to deposit checks.
Oh, is that where you take a picture of the check? Yeah. Like Citibank or somebody?
It's ESL, just the ESL app.
If you do have that app, it is so worth, and this has changed my life. This will change your life right now. Hold on to your chair if you need to. At my show, when they write me a check, I treat it just like Square, and I take a picture of the front and the back with the app, and it goes right into my bank account right when I'm sitting with them. Even if there's a line, I just talk to them while I'm taking the picture, because I have check loss phobia because I did it once and didn't even know until I found it, and I was like, oh, I wonder how many other checks I've lost in my check. So if you are a check loser,
Then how long do you hold on to them before you spread?
I write CNB is my bank, the date I deposited it, I put it with all the orders, and then I put it in their envelope with all of their orders and save it forever.
The banks tell you to hold on to it.
For a week. Yeah. Because they don't want to do it on those days.
There is wiggle room, but I felt previous to going to putting everything in here, I felt like it was just too chaotic. Like, oh, how about Sunday? And then I'd say, oh, I don't work Sundays. Or how about Mondays? I don't work Mondays. So there might be a time where it's like, well, Saturday, works well. Maybe I don't have a Saturday scheduled, or I just didn't for whatever reason, because it's just something I personally would like to avoid. I'll put it in there. If I look at, yeah, I will.
How do you avoid, my biggest thing is if I'm doing a show like, for example, I'll do it on a Saturday or Sunday, I would family members, but those people that are at that show that book want Saturday or Sunday, how do you work around it?
No, I don't work, so.
Well, yeah, but I'm already there, I saw
Yeah.
it like,
I find that too. I had a show Saturday and I haven't in a really long time, and the woman who booked is doing it in a Saturday in January at 2 o'clock. But for me, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it to where it's not gonna put pressure on my husband in the morning to get the kids ready and Mackenzie to dance. And then, like I said, it's during nap time to where if I still wanna do something in the evening as a family, or we go out and somebody comes to watch the kids, we can't.
I was gonna say, I started doing that because I've been doing some shows in Buffalo, and clearly I don't wanna be driving all day. So I say, if you want that Saturday, you have to have a 1 o'clock show. Right. So this
how do you
way,
do 2 shows on a Saturday?
and I actually just did that, I just did that Saturday. They were neighbors, and both of them wanted to do it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna drive out once, so let's do it at 2 different times. And it was nice, I was obviously all day in Buffalo, but, if you specifically say, like, I only do shows at 1 o'clock on that day because I don't wanna waste my whole day driving, so.
And you can still have control of your calendar if you don't want to work a Saturday. If they happen to want a Saturday, you still have control over the time. You can say what works best for me is this time. And though, for the most part, they're going to respect that. Because at this point there, you know your story. You do this, you have kids, you work full time, you don't work full time. So I think, women are pretty, respectful in that way.
The other thing I've been doing too is I do my shows now Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday because, Kathy Paul said that she's worked her whole business doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And so people are like, really on a Monday? And I've been telling people up front, I do my shows Monday, Tuesday, Thursday because that's when I have the best turnout. And my hostesses give the most free jewelry. So I've had, instead of, I would never do a Monday, I'm having the girls fighting over the Monday date because they know that that's the better of the 3 days or whatever it is. So it's all in how you present it, and if you're confident in what you've decided and you know that that's what's gonna work for you, then they're gonna go along with it. You don't call the doctor's office and say, hey, I'm coming Thursday at 1 o'clock. They tell you, we are open this day and this time, here's an appointment for you. So it's kind of the same,
Yeah.
we are jewelry doctors. We are.
And me.
And I do the same for Thursdays, like, what works, I would think a Saturday would work best, and I'm like, quite honestly, you're breaking into people's weekends. I find that, Thursdays or Friday work the best, because it's the end of the work week, everybody wants to unwind, everybody wants to have a little fun, separate themselves from life, so it's like you said, it's totally about how you position it. If you hype up a Thursday, you're gonna get Thursdays and, avoid those Saturday shows, if that's what works for you. Well, thank you very much.